And I am Jackson Long.
And we've got a lot to talk about on this edition of Good Morning KU. We hope you all had a good weekend. On today's show, we're going to talk about tips from IT on finals week, as it's coming up very quickly, just a couple of weeks away. And as always, we'll get into our news and our weather. But first, we're going to open up with sports, and a big sports story over the weekend. Front page news over so many media outlets, both locally and nationally, and that, of course, is the comments made by Donald Sterling, Clippers owner from the NBA. And basically what the comments kind of the Cliff Notes version of this. Basically, he was discriminating against black people, and I guess he got into an argument with his girlfriend, and who doesn't have a full name. They didn't report her full name. They just have her last name out. But basically, the context of it was he did not want black people at his games, and was criticizing his girlfriend for taking pictures with African Americans on her Instagram. More specifically, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson fired back, said he's never going to attend a game as long as Sterling is the owner. Lots of people spoke out on this. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Barack Obama, all of course who are African Americans. And I looked this up online yesterday. 78% of players in the NBA are African Americans, and not that this comment should be made anywhere, but I mean, look, if you're a part of an NBA owner, I mean, that's just the wrong place to do it.
It's inexplainable, and something that I've had a hard time believing it's gone this far. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was an assistant coach with the team, the Clippers, I think back in the 2000s, said he saw this from an early standpoint. He's seen this for a while, and just amazing that this had a place in the NBA for this long, I guess. The Clippers actually last night in their game against Golden State had their warm-ups turned inside out, so their Clippers logo would not show as a form of protest. But very interesting, and I think with the length of the NBA and the NHL playoffs, this is now the lead story and the front-running story of the NBA right now.
Yeah, and then this is just giving the NBA a really bad name, and unfortunately for the Clippers too. The Clippers do have a home game Tuesday, in which, by the way, yesterday against Golden State, Sterling was not in attendance. His wife was, which kind of a weird story. He has a wife and a girlfriend, so that's a completely different story. But as far as everything going on with Sterling, the Players Association and Chris Paul, who again is an African-American player for the Clippers, the key point guard, he said that the Players Association will investigate this. The NBA is investigating it. I mean, obviously legally they can't force him to quit or fire him, because then Sterling can legally retaliate and sue the NBA. But I mean, what do you expect what the outcome of this will be?
Well, the discrimination in its verbal sense is, I guess, not a legal problem, as you mentioned. Now, once you get into the crossing the lines where action is being taken by Donald Sterling based upon, I guess, that racist mindset, then that's when maybe he could get in some more trouble. It'll be interesting to see if evidence of that comes through, and that would be something to remove him. But you got to think at least some point public opinion would be a driving factor in forcing him out of the ownership, which is an interesting situation. If you're the owner of a team, you know, who gets rid of you? And so this is a developing story that will take some time, I think, to completely fold out. And we'll see here in the offseason, or however far the Clippers go in this playoffs, if he will remain with the team as the owner.
You mentioned the playoffs. They have a home game Tuesday against Golden State, and I think if they win that, if I'm not mistaken, they do win the series.
I believe it's 2-2 right now.
Okay, so we still have a couple more games left, but I heard people, there was some sort of talk about African Americans boycotting that game, not attending that game, but I kind of want them to attend and chant Magic Johnson's name. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think a funny story based on that is the other night at the Clippers game, there's a black fan with a sign that says "I'm black" pointed down to him, and then his friend that was white right next to him says, "I brought a black friend to the game." And so making light of a situation, which I think is really great, and showing that we're not going to let the bad intentions of one man stay between us.
Yeah, and LA, as we all know, it's a very strongly diverse place, one of the most diverse places in the United States. So I'm sure a lot of people in that area are not taking this very well. So we'll see what happens. Andrew Wojnarowski of Yahoo Sports reported this morning that Magic Johnson would be interested in buying the team, which is interesting that he, of all people, he's been linked to that. So let's move on and talk about something else. Let's continue with the NBA. A lot of exciting series, and also in the NHL as well, which we'll touch on in a moment. But what's the series in the NBA that you've really just been compelled by the most?
I think you look at the Portland Trail Blazers and the Houston Rockets. 3 of the 4 games have gone into overtime in this series already. The Trailblazers are up 3-1, so it's not the tightest series. And then another one you look at, and it's really all in the Western Conference. The Western Conference has by far the best playoffs so far in this postseason. But the Dallas Mavericks as the 8 seed, challenging the Spurs, now up 2-1. Vince Carter with a game-winning shot on Saturday, a three-pointer as time expired. So those are two great series, and actually the winners will play each other.
In this postseason, a lot has been made because the NBA and the NHL, those are like a mirror image when it comes to seasons. They play at the same time basically, and a lot has been made about how exciting these postseason games have been. But are people in Kansas City following these games? Because obviously Kansas City doesn't have an NBA nor NHL team. I mean, what do you take of all of this, and how can what's the perception that you hear from people?
I think in Kansas City, maybe it's a little more disconnected, but I think in a college town with a university population, a lot of people from you get these guys from Chicago, from St. Louis, and all the people that come to KU. Then they love their hockey up north. A lot of Minnesota people, people from Denver. So I think there's a bigger interest here because we have a more diverse community of where people are from. So I really think that the NHL and NBA playoffs are two of the most exciting times, and being in a college town during that is very nice as well.
Yeah, and we'll see how that all plays out. These usually go into the first week of June, so a long postseason, a very exciting one though, nonetheless, so very well worth it. He's Jackson Long, I'm Farzin Masugi, and we're going to go ahead and take a timeout here on Good Morning KU. When we come back, we'll have our news and our weather and some tips from IT as finals week comes close to us in just a couple of weeks. Stay tuned, we'll be right back here on Good Morning KU.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Cody Cooper here with Chuck LaPointe of KUIT, who's here to give us some tips on the upcoming finals week. Chuck, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. As everybody is all too painfully aware, finals is coming up quickly, and we want to just stress a few things that we think can help students with technology-related tools. The first thing I'd like to mention, hopefully most students have taken advantage of this already, but it's the Microsoft Office tools and the Windows upgrade, which are now totally free to KU students. All you have to do is go online, software.ku.edu. You can download those directly from our KU web store. And not only Microsoft Office and Windows upgrades, but there's some other software there now that's also available either at a discount or free for students. One of those, of course, and hopefully everybody has already got this on their mobile device or their laptops, is an antivirus program. But we offer one free to all KU students. You just have to log on and download it.
Okay, great. And another thing you wanted to talk about was the virtual lab program, where students maybe, if they're not able to get to a computer on campus or something, they'll be able to access some of their work still?
That's correct. One of the initiatives we started this year was the virtual lab. And the basics behind that is that if you can't make it to campus, you can actually download to your mobile device or your laptop the KU Virtual Lab application. What that allows you to do is to actually use all the same software that's in the labs, but you can do it from home or from your mobile device. For example, you've got a paper due tomorrow, you're at a friend's house, you don't have your laptop, you pull out your mobile device, you can work on the document, you can save it, you can retrieve it, and then tomorrow you've got your document for you. And the Microsoft Office products are very popular with iOS users. If you have an Apple device, you know how difficult it is to use Microsoft products on there. Now you can go to our lab and use Access or Word or PowerPoint through our virtual lab. Besides the Microsoft Office products, we have Maple. EndNote is a very popular product for students now as you get starting to turn in your papers and you need to get your citations all in order. We also have some statistical packages available, and quite a few others. Right now we have about 10 software programs on our virtual lab, and again, all you have to do is go to virtuallab.ku.edu and download the Citrix receiver. Then you can get it on your mobile device or your laptop.
Okay, great. And another thing that students are concerned with coming up with finals week is printing those big projects that they have due, a lot of pages coming out of the printer.
That's right.
You guys doing something for the students to kind of help out a little bit with printing come finals week?
We have two components to this. Number one is the CIO, Bob Lim, has graciously again offered to put $8 on every student's Beacon Bucks card. So now you've got some money on there so you can print out those large documents. And the other part of that is also print from anywhere. It's a service I think some students are starting to take advantage of, but it allows you to print from your personal computer, laptop, or mobile device to any multifunction printer on campus that you can access in the computer labs, the libraries, and even some other campus locations. So you could be at your in your apartment. Again, you've got a document due. You can work on it at home, send it to a printer at one of the libraries. Within 2 hours, go to the libraries, swipe your card, and retrieve your document. So if your printer malfunctions right in the middle of a crucial document that you need to have, just send it to a printer on campus, and you can go there and download it. So it's a very unique feature, and you can do it from anywhere. As long as you have internet access, you can print.
So no one should have any excuses come finals week.
Yeah, that is the downside. Is that your professor will not say, will not allow, oh, my printer doesn't work anymore. So, but you do have options, and that's the main thing. And again, print.ku.edu. If you notice, these URLs are very intuitive. Print.ku.edu, virtuallab.ku.edu, software.ku.edu. So just go to one of those spots, and I think you'll find that that's going to help. And I believe the money is going to be on the card sometimes before this week is over. It's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. Students will see that extra $8 for printing expenses as they head into finals week.
Okay, great. And looking past finals week, you have maybe some advice for students, things they should be doing over the summer?
Well, I think one of the main things is that you want to be able to access your KU email while you're not here during the summer. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to do it on your mobile device. If you haven't configured your mobile device to get your KU email yet, we can help you out. For students that don't know, we have a walk-up window in the Birds Union, and we also have a walk-up window here in the Kansas Union. In fact, right next to the Media Crossroads across the hall from Commerce Bank. So if you're having any issues, not only with your email, with your My Identity, if for some reason you're not using Jayhawk Wireless yet, we can help you out. We have those 2 locations. They're open during the day during the school year. Stop in and see us. We have very qualified students there to be able to help you out and to get you going on the right path. But getting that KU email app on your mobile device for the summer is important, because all official communications from KU is going to go to your KU email address. And again, the walk-up window is open pretty much every day from 8 to 5 and sometimes 6. And thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
This has been Chuck LaPointe from KUIT giving us some advice for finals week, and we'll be right back with the news and the weather.
Hi, I'm Emma Hogue.
And I'm Haley McGavick. This is your Monday Good Morning KU news update. Brutal storms roared across the Central Plains and Mid-South late last night, killing at least 17 people. Some of the worst damage was north of Little Rock, Arkansas, where reported tornadoes devastated the towns of Mayflower and Valonia. Winds from the storm near Mayflower were estimated at 130 to 150 miles per hour. More than 100 people were being treated at Arkansas hospitals.
And the unofficial election results for Student Senate have been disclosed. Grow KU won the presidential and vice presidential positions, as well as 52 Senate positions. However, voters who would like to contest the results can still do so by filing a complaint with the Elections Commission. A hearing to certify the results is scheduled for tomorrow.
A search went out for a missing pilot after 2 planes collided in San Francisco. The single-engine planes collided at about 4 p.m. on Sunday. One pilot made it safely back to land on the ground, but the other pilot remains missing at this time. A helicopter, rescue boats, and a Coast Guard cutter have been dispatched to find the other pilot.
And the Vatican has declared John Paul II and John the 22nd as saints. In a rare celebration, 2 of the Catholic Church's most loved modern popes have been canonized by 2 other living popes.
Although there was still work left to be done at Rock Chalk Park, KU put construction on hold for the Kansas relays. Following a successful weekend of activities, Farzine Vasugian shares with us on what to expect in the future.
Rock Chalk Park, KU's $22.5 million construction project, will host soccer, softball, and track and field events. But that's not all. Rock Chalk Park has been rewarded the NCAA West Preliminary Regional Meet for track in 2016.
People are already taking notice about how great this track is and how great the facility is. And we'll look to host conference and NCAA meets on a regular basis.
Associate Athletic Director Jim Marchioni said that some KU athletic programs were long overdue for a new home to host games and events. Very soon, those teams will be rewarded with a better venue and facility.
In terms of Rock Chalk Park, with the track, softball, and soccer, those are facilities needs. that the University of Kansas has needed for decades. We owed it to the student athletes in those sports to upgrade the facilities in which they were playing, and so that was a key part of our thinking.
With Rock Chalk Park's debut and first weekend of events now in the books, construction has resumed. The new Rock Chalk Recreation Center is expected to open on August 1st, while park and recreation events are projected to begin on September 1st. Farzine Vasugian, Kansan Media.
Thanks, Farzine. The neighboring New Lawrence Recreation Center is part of the Rock Chalk Park project and will open in September.
And that will wrap it up for today's update. After a break, Jackson and Hannah will be back with the weather.
Good morning, KU. I'm Jackson Long. We're going to head outside for the weather. Hannah, it looks like Toy Story out there. It looks like one of the best days we've had in a while. How's the weather outside?
Hi, Jackson. Yes, it's pretty up here. It's kind of windy, but it's very nice compared to what we've had.
What's the temperature like today, and what will we see for today's forecast?
Today we're going to see some low 60s. It's partly cloudy. We might get a little bit of rain later today, but it's a lot nicer, a lot cooler than last week, and through the week it'll continue to be this kind of cold, nice.
We've had some severe weather in the last couple days, and we've seen it in the area. Are we going to get any of that today?
I think it's all pretty much past. We had some scary storms yesterday morning, and they went through Arkansas, but other than that, it's pretty much past us.
So for the rest of the week, what do we have to look forward to? More clear skies and okay temperatures?
Clear skies, low 60s. It's going to be beautiful, nice, pretty weather to be outside.
Thank you very much, Hannah. That will do it for us on Good Morning KU. Hannah outside with the weather, and I'm Jackson Long. Be back with us next week for our Cinco de Mayo episode, which we will do entirely in Spanish, or at least part of it in Spanish. So thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next week.